Just when you thought predicting the NFL draft a year out was impossible, we're now trying to do it coming off a very atypical college football season. I know a year from now I could very well look like an idiot, but that's not stopping me from making a 2022 NFL mock draft. By the way, the teams are in order of their Super Bowl odds, so no need to get angry about that. Let's get to it. Right off the bat, I had to do a trade. The Texans drafted Davis Mills in the second round this year, and they need a massive roster overhaul, so I have them trading with the Giants for the number 6 overall and the number 10 overall picks. Maybe the Giants have to throw in an additional pick in there as well. In return, though, they get their franchise quarterback. Spencer Rattler is the next Lincoln Riley QB to hit the draft. Right now, he's the Heisman favorite. He's on the smaller side, but that hasn't mattered much for Baker Mayfield or Kyler Murray. I think Rattler's combo of natural arm talent, mobility, and projected production puts him at the top. I've seen his effortless throwing motion compared to everything from Steph Curry's shot to Patrick Mahomes' bombs downfield. Howell looks like the real deal. He plays like Baker Mayfield and apparently has Tom Brady-like preparation habits. He's tough, confident, has good instincts, and can fit the ball in the tight windows. Right now, he's in that conversation for the number 1 pick. With Stafford gone, Howell can become the Lions' face of the franchise. We were sure Penei Sewell was going to be deserving of a top 10 pick last year, and that's the way we feel about his former teammate, Kayvon Thibodeaux. He's that next Chase Young, Myles Garrett, bona fide edge rusher. He's quick, flexible, and has been at the top of his class since high school. When Derek Stingley was a true freshman, Joe Burrow said he was already one of the top 5 corners in the country. In fact, Burrow believed if Stingley was eligible back then, he would have gone in the first round. He has all the tools to become a lockdown corner in the NFL for a long time. The Bengals continue to add protection for Joe Burrow with Jackson Carman going inside and grabbing Evan Neal. A type of player to get drafted in the first round on his body alone. At 6'7", 360, he's got very long arms that can cover a lot of space and generate plenty of power to open up space on runs. He could easily be the first offensive lineman off the board. When Drake Jackson was born, his father wished for his birth certificate to say, Drake Jackson, University of Southern California, outside linebacker, 265 pounds. Well, he was pretty much on the money with that one, give or take 10 pounds. Now it might be time for a legal name change to Drake Jackson, 2022 top 10 draft pick. It didn't take long for Kedon Slovis to become the best quarterback in the Pac-12. He's a very accurate pocket passer, has had some injuries here and there, but he continues to get bigger and stronger. He can throw well from different angles, which is something that's obviously becoming more and more important amongst NFL scouts. JT Daniels was once a 5-star quarterback alongside Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. He also once lost his job to Slovis after injuries piled up. At Georgia, though, it didn't take long for him to learn and produce in a new system. His arm talent can rival anyone in this class, and he looks set up for a first-round selection. A safety in the top 10 doesn't happen every year, but 6'4" Kyle Hamilton looks special enough to be worth it. Mac Jones compared him to Ed Reed, saying Hamilton was all over the field constantly making plays. He'd be a perfect modern-day safety, linebacker-ish hybrid. Kaiir Elam is a big-time ball hawk and student of the game. He watches plenty of Jalen Ramsey and Stephon Gilmore tape, and just like those two, he could become a first-round pick and eventual Pro Bowl corner. DeMarvin Leal can play on the inside and outside. He's crazy athletic for his size and can be a big-time disruptor on the Falcons' defense. Christian Harris is now the quarterback of Alabama's defense. He's been starting for the best program in the country since his freshman year, and come next year, he'll be next in the Alabama linebacker pipeline of first-round picks. Zach Harrison was a 5-star recruit out of high school, and he's managed to meet those expectations at Ohio State. He's drawn plenty of comparisons to Chase Young and the Bosa brothers, given his position and school. George Karlaftis didn't start playing football until 8th grade when he moved to Indiana from Greece. Now he's got the frame, the motor, and the versatility to make plays for any NFL team. Brian Burns is probably sick of getting double teamed, and this will sure help with that. Zion Nelson joined the Hurricanes undersized, and he really struggled. He's gained about 75 pounds in just a few years while maintaining his athletic frame, and as a result, he's been one of college football's most improved players. Chris Olave is already one of the most well-known names on this list. He could have been a first-round pick in this year's draft, but decided to stay another year at Ohio State. He can get vertical separation and wants to use this year to get stronger as potentially the first receiver off the board next year. The Chargers are already paying Keenan Allen $20 million a year, and Mike Williams is going to be a free agent. Obviously, it might not end up shaking out this way, but Ohio State could potentially have the top 2 receivers in this draft. Garrett Wilson showed he can dominate in the slot last year, and this year he'll be moving back outside. With Julian Edelman retired, the Patriots still need some help at receiver, and this could be a great fit. With Kwity Paye gone, Aiden Hutchinson is the new face of the Michigan defense. He's been compared to Pro Bowl edge rusher Matt Judon as a guy who can play well in a variety of stances. I have the Jets trading up from number 24, which was the Seahawks' original pick. Justin Ross missed the entire 2020 season following surgery on his back, but he should be all clear for next year. Even though he's a big-bodied receiver, he can cut on a dime and pretty much line up anywhere. Pairing Ross up with A.J. Brown would be a nightmare for defenses. I just had to pair Fletcher Cox with Brenton Cox, who has shown flashes of first-round brilliance. For now, this pick is more of a projection that Cox will be able to cut down on the bad plays in 2021. His ceiling is extremely high, and he's probably worth the risk. The Steelers' answer for their next quarterback, Desmond Ridder, a legit dual-threat weapon. Like when Lamar Jackson came into the league, he's a bit raw in the passing game, but the talent and tools are there for future success. Assuming Carson Wentz plays 70% or more snaps, the Eagles will have 3 first-round picks. With Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert's contracts expiring in 2022, it might be smart to grab a tight end. Jalen Weidermeyer is a clear contender for the top tight end in this class. Sure, he isn't a Kyle Pitts, but he's well-rounded and can line up all over the place. Alabama has been stuffing the NFL draft with first-round receivers lately, and John Mechie is the next in line. With the Jalen Waddle injury last year, Mechie emerged as an explosive and extremely productive threat. The Cowboys moved down for an extra pick and still get a position of need. Bubba Bolden can rack up tackles, force fumbles, and contribute on special teams. He has good closing speed and can make plays in a variety of spots on the field. The Browns missed out on the rush of edge rushers, so instead they snag Perrion Winfrey, a relentless 300-pound defensive tackle with great instincts. The Ravens compare Ventrell Miller up with Patrick Queen for a dominant center of the defense. Miller can provide more speed to a modern-day NFL front seven. He can tackle in space and close in on speedy targets. I'm not the biggest fan of a running back in the first round, but this one fits. Breece Hall finished 6th in Heisman voting last year as a true sophomore. He can play all 3 downs, get downfield quickly, and cut on a dime. George Pickens could be picked higher if he's able to fully return off a recently torn ACL. At 6'3", he's more of a big physical receiver. He can come down with the ball, block, and control his body to out-muscle defensive backs. Isaiah Spiller could potentially jump Hall as the top running back. Watching him play, you'll see great burst and plenty of shed tackles. He could add an extra, much-needed element to the Bills' offense. Here we've got a former 5-star tackle. Charles Cross has got the checks off the field with his coachability and football IQ. On top of that, he's athletic and will continue to get a crap load of protection snaps in Mississippi State's pass-heavy offense. Carlton Davis will be a free agent next year, with the Bucs already very cap-strapped. Sevyn Banks gave off a strong impression as a young Buckeye in 2018. Since then, he's improved quite a bit and will be one of the most explosive players on the Ohio State defense this year. The Chiefs could go in a number of different directions here, but I have them continuing to add protection around Patrick Mahomes. Listening to Rasheed Walker and his coaches speak, it sounds like he's a bit of a technique perfectionist. He stayed at Penn State to continue to develop, and his hard work could pay off as an eventual round 1 pick.